Forged Trader, where successful traders aren't born, they are forged. We are talking about trading today. Trading involves risk. Please make sure you know what you're doing before you do it. All right, okay. Shit, so this microphone thing is becoming a bad joke. So here I am for the second time today. Just like I had to do yesterday, go twice because I cannot seem to remember now to put on my mic because I'm so used to having the big mic that was constantly having issues. So I don't know, one of these days I will be, I don't know, I'll have this under control. But in the meantime, bear with me. All right, so today, let's see here, what are we, Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024? Okay, so a couple of things. First of all, if you were around yesterday or the last couple of days, I only had 2 accounts. There was a delay on some of the accounts, and I went ahead and had them put me on the back burner because I would rather them take care of you guys than me. I've got a long-standing relationship with them. I'm good to wait. So anyway, got the other 3 accounts active and going, so they're starting to get caught up. As you can see, I was up about 255 and change today across all 5 accounts. Getting up into the 26,124 and change, 26,046 for those 2 that have been active for the last few days. And then the others, of course, are at 25,255 and change. So just today's up. Today was a really good day for me, not just because it was an up day. Of course, up days are really nice. But, you know, as I've obviously had days where I'm doing really well with taking a loss and continuing, taking a loss and quitting, wherever I land, basically on how much I ended up down. So my first trade for the day ended up being a loser. Now, of course, I had my risk set at a maximum of 100. So with commissions, it was a couple bucks over 100, whatever, which still left me enough room to take another trade. And interestingly enough, so from that first trade, look, there was a discretionary moment of where I set my stop. I set it way too tight. I really just wanted to go for that big risk-reward ratio, which meant that if the trade had gone my way, it would have been almost a $500 trade, $450 trade. Whereas if I'd moved my stop down, I would still only have risked 100. It would have been like a $320 win. You know, still 3-to-1 plus. So I got a little greedy, is probably really what it boils down to. But at any rate, it came in, took out my stop, and just shot up and took out my target shortly thereafter. So it was kind of a bummer. If I'd have been a little bit less aggressive with my stop loss, a little bit more reasonable, it would have been a one and done $300 trade, and I would have been out of there. But that's not how it went down. But I did, you know, of course, I've spent a lot of time focusing on really just the emotional handling of you know, losing trades, being really clear on why, and, you know, we've talked about journaling, and I'll get into that in a second. But it just finally had that moment of clarity of just stop, slow down, we're going to have another opportunity, just sit it out. And sure enough, I had another opportunity. It ended up great. It was like a, 3.5 to 1, and it took it. And I got in almost right at the swing low, got out almost right at the swing high. Basically, gave it a little bit of a continuation off of the all-time high, and it, you know, it took it with a few more ticks and then shot back down. Strategically, I'm starting to feel a lot more comfortable and a lot more confident. And what that has done is it has helped me to address the anxiety that comes from, well, taking a losing trade and waiting for another one and not feeling like I have to make that up immediately, or I have to find, I have to take something right this second. And so, look, it is an ongoing process, and there is no quick fix. And yes, this is always going to be a challenge. It's always going to be there. What makes for being successful versus struggling is how I respond to that temptation, how I respond to that emotional drive to do something that I know I shouldn't do. And where, interestingly enough, this is something that, as I've talked about, I've been working on for several years. I have found it so much easier to manage these emotions and manage these feelings and manage this type of stuff in other areas of my life. So much harder in trading, because trading, it has the emotional structure of that relationship zone, where emotions tend to be very high, but it also factors in the business side with the money. So from the standpoint of how intense it is, it's more intense than what were in my life always the two domains of my life that were always that big struggle. It's more emotional, or at least as emotional as my relationships, and it's, carries the weight and the struggle of the business. So I have had such a difficult time taking strategies that I've successfully used in other areas of my life and applying them to trading. And I've been wondering why it's been so much harder. And I really think that that's it. It's business, but it's business on steroid level emotions. And so the emotional response has been very, very hard to deal with, and I'm getting there. And like I said, there's no quick fix. And just because I've done it in one area of my life doesn't mean that I immediately, magically, right off the bat, I'm going to be successful applying it here. So today was good. I feel really good about how it ended up, and how I handled the challenging start to the day. And not that this necessarily has anything to do with it, but of course, commitment is commitment. You start following through on your commitments in every area, and all of a sudden results start to get better. Now, obviously this one's a little more chicken scratchy than yesterday's. Yesterday was my first one, so yeah, I was all diligent about making sure it was nice and clean and all that. And today it was about getting the information down. And you know what? This really has been very helpful in terms of getting more clarity, and just the fact that I know I'm going to write it down. If not, I'm going to be called out on it, right? So just knowing that I actually have to put into words what my entry was all about and justify it, I got to say, it actually helps me make sure that my decision making is pretty solid. So anyway, if you're not journaling your trades, I highly recommend it. It's I can't call it a game changer yet. It's been 2 days, but I do think that it has already had a positive impact on my mindset and my trades, both. Anyway, so that's another update in the books. I'm getting close to within striking distance anyway. I'm going to be a little less concerned about what striking distance may or may not look like. I'm 375-ish away on one of them. That could be a 1 day, that could be 2 or 3 days. It doesn't matter. For me, I really just need to focus on the entries, the exits, the management of my mindset, and then from there, it'll just happen. And so I'm identifying the areas where I've struggled and trying to eliminate the challenge associated with them. So that's where I am today. Now that I have a microphone, all of that is heard. Do not forget Forge Trader Podcast. Check it out on iTunes and Spotify. It's been a lot of fun. I have a new episode landing tomorrow, Thursday. So make sure to check that out and leave me some feedback. Let me know what you guys think. Leave me a review on the platforms. Is always very helpful. And let me know if there's any topics that you want me to hit as we go through. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you guys. I love you all. God bless. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.